Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Javier in the Air. This has been a 3 week gap between the last one and this one due to the raining and flooding and everything that's been going on here. Last week I just didn't have time to do it, but I'm doing it today even though it's still raining and we just got another flash flood warning. But don't worry, my house, my subdivision is elevated enough so that the drain, actually mine's kind of the high point of the street, so it drains down and away on both sides for me. Well, a little bit more towards the right than the left, but either way, it still drains away. So even though the ground has been saturated, even though we had a couple of days of sun, there's still going to be some rice paddy looking front yards around my neighborhood and around probably your neighborhood if you're in the Texas area. So hopefully everyone was safe. Everyone I know, friends and family wise, were safe from the flash flooding that occurred last week, which was very horrible. I won't go into it too much. There's enough being said out there. If you need to note for everybody who would like to participate by donating to the Kerrville flood victims and the atrocities that happened there, be sure that it's a legitimate site. These horrible bastards, literally 1 hour after the event occurred, or the high point of the event, scammers started going out there and creating their own GoFundMe sites and their own donate to me site. We're going to donate all the proceeds and all the donations to the flood victims, and there are more than a handful that are fake. So be sure that you know that the site that you want to donate to or have donated to is legitimate. If you find out that it's not legitimate, please report that. Actually, that's a good point. I'm not sure who to report that to when it comes to the internet, but be sure and let your friends and family know wherever you let them know that that particular site is fake. And I'm sure there is some number that you can call. If I can find out before the end of this end of my show, I will post that in the credits. So, but as all human beings, we move forward and we move on, and I have a chock full show for you. It is a lot because it's 3 weeks worth instead of two, so it's probably going to go over a little over the 30 minutes. I'm still going to have the trash in the hood for the days I was able to get out. I do have a Zen Moment. I'm not sure, I may or may not cut that depending on time. I do have some baking goodies that I did over. If you've seen them on Facebook or on Nextdoor, I posted on both. If not, you're in for a treat. And then also we'll have our spirit times. Well, I will, this time, unlike last time, I will actually make a cocktail. Like I've been saying, I did one 2 shows ago, and I did a beer last show, so I'm going to do a cocktail this show. So let's go ahead and get going on our Trash in the Hood. And here we go, week 151, day one. As you notice, there was almost a complete bag of food on the top right there from, the regular food place, fast food place. There was a runner's bra that was like bundled up and thrown into the street. A lot of paper receipts and bits of cars and everything. This was day one, which means it's Monday, so must have been a couple of accidents over the weekend on some of the cross streets that I go over. A Zen, like basically a tobacco container that actually is those tobacco bags that people use nowadays, and a bunch of cigarette butts. And then I had to start, I had to go the days because of the rain. So this was week 152, day one. So about a week later, as you see here, even though there was a lot of rain and a lot of rushing water going down the streets into the drains, we still had a lot of stuff out there. There's a tennis ball right about in the middle there. A lot of water bottles and beverage containers and just some gloves. I found another pair of scissors, lots of like Ziploc baggies, a couple of cigarette boxes, and a good number of cigarette butts. So even though there was a lot of rain, this stuff was weighted down so that it stayed around for me to pick up. Here we are, week 152, day two. So this was an interesting mix. So again, it wasn't raining out there, so it looks like a lot of people got out and walked around and threw a bunch of stuff away. So we have some beer cans and some, of course, the normal paper and everything. And I think the neighborhood lawn care people had gone through, so a lot of it was cut up. So lots of little bits of stuff. There's some vape pens. Actually, this has been a while since I found any vape pens. A box for vape pen, a lottery ticket that unfortunately was not a winner, another pair of scissors, and then a high amount of cigarette butts. So, because we went on such a circuitous route, I decided to actually show my pacer map here. And this was about 2.47 miles. It was cool enough that we didn't have any issues with the heat. And you see it going around here. So that main big blue line is actually El Salito, and then you see everything on the left hand side there. So here we are, week 153, day two. So got out there again, got a decent amount of stuff. I was very surprised at the number of cigarette butts. If you look there at the bottom left, it's really only about 7 or 8. Some of them are so smushed together they look like they're one, but they were two. Large number of to-go coffee cups, like they were like maybe on a construction cruise tailgate and they just drove off and left them there. A large bit of wrapping stuff. Another pair of scissors. This is like the third pair of scissors I found in as many weeks. And a lot of just the general trash that you normally see that people just happen to throw out or fall out of their car. So here's my map from my pacer again. Didn't go as far as the last one, so about zero point 0.7 less, but it was a kind of a roundabout one as well. And what's great about these maps is the GPS actually picks up my little wavering if I go back and forth across the street picking up stuff, and it adds to my steps, so that's fantastic. And finally, we come to week 153, day four. We found a nice cap that was dusty and in the dirt. Big thing of wrapping like styrofoam type of thing. It looks like almost like, well, it's for wrapping. So I think those of you who know. A couple of beverage cans, beverage lids, but not the containers. So that was interesting. Bunch of wrappers for Swisher Sweet cigars and stuff like that. And then large pieces of plastic and water bottle lids. And then at the left, you see we're back to our normal, 15 to 18 cigarette butts. Actually, those are probably 20 plus. So it's unfortunate, but when the sun is out, the smokers are out. And that's it for the past 3 weeks. And there you have it, everybody. So, not the 3 weeks equaled almost what I normally do in 2 weeks. But like I said, there's been a lot of rain, and I've been feeling a little off the past couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to get out as much as I can, or have been. So I'm hoping that things will pick up again next week. Um, so for those of you who ask, I do once again mention that I pick up the trash and I walk around and I do what I can, and I'm not out here to shame anybody specifically. But if you feel guilty in general that you see all this trash on the streets, that it helps you to not throw trash on the streets, then I feel good about that. So I'm never going to name names because I don't know most of the people. I actually don't know most of the people that I walk around and their houses or their neighborhoods. And I don't really need to know. I'm just out there because I feel like it helps me to try to keep healthy and stay healthy when it comes to my walking. And if it makes my neighborhood look a little bit nicer, then that's great. If you feel like you want to do it for your neighborhood, just grab a bag, grab a grabber, grab a pair of gloves, and go out there and do it. There's nothing to it. If you're going to be walking anyway, why not make your neighborhood look a little bit better? I also don't go on people's yards because we all know that it's a their sovereign domain. Plus, some people may get a little bit squirrely about it, and I don't want to deal with that, and I don't need to deal with that. There's plenty of trash in the public areas that I can pick up. So I will be doing that as well. Thanks to all the people out there that are waving and saying thank you and that they appreciate it. The more the merrier. Yeah, I'm not out there doing it for it, but it's nice when I get it. So I am going to continue to keep doing it. By that I mean myself, are getting close to reaching 3 years. So I'm going by 52 weeks a year, 3 years. That's 156 weeks, and we just finished up week 153. So there are 3 more weeks left before I hit the 3 year mark. I may celebrate that by um, walking to a location and then telling people that I'm at that location if they want to sit down and have some coffee with me. So, or just sit down and say, or walk by and say hello. So I'll probably do that on a Saturday, and I'll let everybody know well in advance if you'd like to go out there and just say, hey, have some coffee. I found a really great coffee place on my walk that is a halfway point for me, so it's perfect to go in there, have a Spanish latte or a cortado, which I recommend both, by the way. And yes, I'm still not being paid by anyone, so it's just my personal opinion. I'm not sponsored. So it's a great place. I just went there this morning before I started this show, and it's fantastic. So I'll be talking more about that when we get closer to year 3 ending. So stay tuned. Now, let's go ahead and go into our Zen moment. And there you have it, your Zen moment for the week. Once again, I used AI generation to generate the images that you saw there. The audio, I also the music that you heard, I also AI generated, trying to see if I can incorporate more AI into this or more other things. It's not making things easier because sometimes a lot of the pictures don't make sense when I try to explain what I want to see, and so then I have to get rid of them, and I'm spending my Wondershare dollars on there. So hopefully, each one I'm trying to get better and better at writing what I want to see and what I want to hear. So they also have a new feature, text to speech, and the guy's voice was fantastic, but it's not doing everything I wrote. It's like if I made it one run on sentence, it might give it to me, but I don't write that way. I just automatically put in commas and periods, and so after 8 or 12 seconds, it moves on to like the next sentence. So it's not, and then it doesn't pick up exactly where the next sentence starts. It starts somewhere else. So I'm not sure what it's doing, but I couldn't use it this time. So I'll keep trying and see what I can do. So now we're going to move to our baking section. I did some fantastic baking last weekend, and I couldn't help myself, but I wanted to put it on the show. If you want to get the recipe or where you can find the recipe online, just let me know. Reach out to me. As always, either on here on my YouTube channel, Javier in the Air. That's Javier in the Air. Also, you can reach out to me by tagging me. My tag here is Javier in the Air 01. That's pound sign Javier in the Air 01, all one word. Or if you know how to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or phone, smoke signals, semaphore, Morse code, however you know how to contact me and I'll let you know. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to our baking section. Hey everybody, I'm going to try something different. I got a hold of some of these that I've been watching a lot of videos in South Korea and Japan. Bread cube loaf pans. So I'm going to make two different types of bread. I'm going to make a watermelon bread, and then I'm going to make a cube chocolate bread. So wish me luck. I'll have photos. Okay, so this is just your regular bread, standard bread recipe. This is actually going to be wind up being raisin bread, but it's going to look a little different. So I started out by making the bread. You can use pretty much any recipe that has yeast in it because you want it to rise a little bit. And then I divvied it up into three sections. The one section is larger than the other two. This is the red section prior to it being letting it to rise, but I added the raisins to it. So you add the raisins to it because, of course, you wanted to make it look like watermelon. So here is the red section to it. After I got that into a little ball, I covered it in plastic like you see here so that it could rise for about an hour. So then this is the green section. Not much to it, same thing, put a little plastic over it. And then this is the white section. Now, what's interesting to me is that the largest section was red, but so you cut your loaf recipe in half. Half is red, the other half gets cut in half, so you have a quarter white and a quarter green. But I think honestly, it would be better if I maybe did it thirds, because I needed a little bit more white and green compared to the red. So this is it all combined in the cool little cube loaf pan that I found, and you can find these on Amazon for about 10 to 12 bucks each. They normally sell them as a pair, but you can find them out there one by one. But I bought a pair, and so I made two watermelon loaves. So I made double the recipe, and then I did the cutting like it said. And like I said, I think it should still be a third. So here it is cooling on the rack. I just pulled them out of the oven, and there was some crack on there, and it doesn't look that high because it's a weird angle, but it was actually about 4 to 5 inches high, like you would if, as a normal rise for a bread, and it's much smaller because it is a small cube loaf pan. But I wanted to do the cube because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of it. So then once I got it off the rack and got ready to cut it, here you see how it is. It's still a little bit of an angle, so it doesn't look as tall as it may is. It's not super tall, but it's more of a standard bread loaf pan. So I think if I had more dough, I could have crammed it in there so that it became a perfect cube like I was wanting to, but I'll have to do that for the next round of baking that I do for that. But so here's the final result. I sliced one open so you could see it. The raisins are all over the place. The white is just enough white there so you can see it. And then the green overwraps everything like it would for a standard or real organic fruit watermelon. But again, this is a raisin bread. It's not cinnamon raisins, just raisin, and it was fantastic. Now, round two, gotta make some double chocolate bread using the same bread loaf pans. Okay, so it starts out like any other chocolate, like any other bread, really. It's just you're adding. I added cocoa powder and Dutch cocoa powder. Excuse me, that's tough to say for me. And then you, just like any other bread, you put it in there, cover it, or put it in a bowl and cover it so that it can rise. You let this first rise go for about an hour and a half. So I think that's probably what the problem was with my watermelon loaf, was that it only called for one rise, and I think it should be two. So after you get it out of the pan, you after the first rise, is then you shape it, or you cut it into the pieces that you want, which I cut it in half, and then you shape it. Add some chocolate to it, some chocolate chips to it while you're shaping it, and then you put it into where it's going to bake, into these loaf pans, and then you let it sit for about another, or let it rise for about another hour. So here it is, out of the rack, and you can see again the weird angle makes it look like they're no more than 2 or 3 inches high, but they're not. They're about 5 to 6 inches high, using the same loaf pan that I use for the watermelon, which I should, like I said, I should have made more so that I can cram it in there so it came out like an actual cube. I'll have to do that next time. Here's another shot of it, just to show you how it looks while it's cooling on the rack. So it requires you, like it tells you, once you finish baking, get it out of the oven and then immediately remove it from the loaf pan. So the pan itself was greased. You just turn it upside down, you tap it a little bit, or you can hit it sharply against the butcher block and it comes out. So here is the double chocolate bread. It's upside down shot because I had the camera in a different way, but it's fine here. And you can see it came out really good, evenly distributed of the dark chocolate chips that I used for the interior, and it turned out really, really good. I got great compliments from it. Okay, so there you have it. So those of you who were following along, I am totally obsessed with watching the baking that is done in South Korea and Japan. My nephew and his wife just got back from Japan, and they went to a couple of bakeries, and they loved it. And of course, they were all over the place in Japan, but they really liked it. And the bakery of the open food markets that I see in South Korea just looks absolutely fantastic. There's one that had, I think it's at 144 stalls, so you would not be able to work your way through there in one day, much less one night, if you were to try everything. I, of course, probably, I'm sure there's a couple that I would definitely not try, but there was a lot that looked really good. And a lot of it is baked items, so they're either baking it off site and bringing it. For the most part, they're doing that. If they're doing like maybe a pie or something, they may have been doing that there. But most of the bakery baked items they do bring. And then some of the videos I've been watching from Japan and South Korea again are also from bakeries that are doing fantastic things. So I saw these cube loaf pans. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to say that. And I thought it was really cool, so I looked them up, and like I said on the video, I did purchase two. They're called mini ones. They're also called Pullman loaf pans. And basically, it's just a cube. It's just a square, has a lid, and you can even like pack it down so that you're just right below the lip of the loaf pan itself. And then when you put that lid on it, it's only going to bake as high as that lid goes. Now, I'm sure there's some difficulties may come in when you remove the lid. It may remove some of the top of the loaf pan. I don't know. I would have to get it just right. But the pan lid is made as the same material as the pan itself, so I would think it would be baking it on top. So you're not going to get like, you know, it too moist at the top or too raw at the top, so when you pull the lid off it tears it off and then it looks all yucky. No, it should be baking it like if it was an enclosed pan, which it is. And so it should bake the top, made it perfectly crusty all the way on the other four sides, five sides I should say. Even and the top was crusty on the breads I made, but you want it, I'd like to see it in a full cube to see how it goes. So I'll be check back here. I'm sure I'll be doing it again. Some other types of fancy, unusual breads, just to see how they work. So, like I mentioned, got some good feedback. It was really good. One group really liked the watermelon bread. The other group really liked the double chocolate bread. So, but I'm glad they liked it. So it was good. They didn't hate the other ones. They just didn't really like it. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we definitely still are going to be right around 30 minutes, which is fantastic. So let's now go to our spirit times where I'll be making a cocktail. Dark Frog Social Media presents Spirit Time Special Edition Cocktail. This week, Espresso Martini. Okay, so I'm in a little bit of a weird position. I had to move the camera way back. I might have to look at getting another type camera when I do this next time. But here it is, Spirit Time. This is back to our cocktail edition. I am making an espresso martini. Now, I don't have the time to show all the setup that I would need for a true espresso martini that I would make, but I'm going to go ahead and cheat and do it this way. I apologize once again. I will try to have my best to have a better setup so that I can actually make the cocktail and not just buy the mix for it. So we have here a shaker tin that already has ice in it, so it's been chilling for a little bit. I don't have a martini glass because I don't drink a lot of martinis, so I do have my wine glass that it's going to double as a martini glass. No worries. I know for you martini aficionados out there, this is sacrilege. And if you'd like to come on and show me how to do it correctly and bring your own martini glass, you're welcome to come aboard. So, glass. This is a espresso martini mix from Fever Tree. It's a combination of Indonesian Robusta and Arabica beans that they put together, and they make it into a nice velvety espresso martini mix. So you can get this at a liquor store, doesn't matter which one, you should be able to find it. This part doesn't have any alcohol in it, it's just the espresso martini mix. And yes, it's espresso, not espresso, for those of you who don't know. This is espresso. So we're going to go ahead and try it. Never had it before. But what we're looking at here is 1.5 ounces of vodka, which for those of you who know, I am not a fan of vodka anymore. For that story, please reach out to me directly and have a drink ready. But I did get some for the show because I am willing to sacrifice and make the sacrifice for my show. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So here we are, the espresso mix, no alcohol in it. We're going to add a ounce and a half of vodka to the shaker tin. We're also going to add 2 ounces of espresso martini mix. So let's go ahead and get right to it. And I forgot the actual ounce jigger that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and free it. Go on the fly. I know this may be a little bit more than none, but I did used to be a barback many years ago. So for those of you who may not have a jigger, and you know what I'm talking about, it's a little thing that will have an ounce on one side, usually a half an ounce on the other, and you can flip it over and go back and forth. You can do, if you don't have that, which gives you an exact measurement, you can go ahead and free pour it, which is no longer really done at the restaurants. They usually have exact measurements because they have a very thin line on making money. But here at Casa de Ayala, we don't care, so we're going to go ahead and free pour it. For those of you who don't know, if you've free poured it in the past, a simple count to 1 gives you an ounce. So an ounce and a half is a little bit more difficult, but here we go. That was a 1/2. And actually, let's just make it a little bit, add a little bit more to make sure we got that half in. Even though I'm not a big fan of vodka, I do like to make sure that Casa de Ayala is heavy-handed when it comes to the alcohols. That's not just for my parties, that's for me as well, even though I'm not a fan of vodka. And now it requires 2 ounces of espresso martini. So we're going to go ahead and count 1,001, 1,002, maybe a little bit extra to make sure that I hit that 2 ounce mark. Then I'm going to go ahead and close this back up. And if you notice, I also sacrificed for the team by, this is the smallest one they had for espresso martini. I couldn't find any small ones, so here's that, which may have to go into one of the tasting parties. And this is a big old thing of vodka, which I'm going to have to find a way for that. shaker, the top. You put the top on. Make sure it's on tight enough because you don't want to spill it. I'm going to hold it like this because it's small enough and my hand is big enough. And we're going to shake it like our life depends on it. I'm going to turn it, shake it some more. Up, and I had our first injury already. Luckily, I had paper towel to capture it up. I'm going to keep two hands on it. I shouldn't have my elbows on the table because it shakes the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and take the top off, which then does drain out the ice. And we're going to do our pour. So 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, you get 3.5 ounces. So it's not a lot. And I'm not sure because I haven't been in the restaurant business for years what the actual amount that you use. This is quite small. It may be what they actually use nowadays, or it could be what they've always used. But where I worked, we didn't do a lot of martinis, so we didn't have to. I don't remember the exact amounts. I'm going by the bottle itself, and it said 1.5 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of the martini mix, which then gives you 3.5 ounces. So it's a little bit less than 4 shots. But with the mixture and from the water coming from the ice itself, it's not going to be as potent as it could be if it didn't have anything and you just took a shot of vodka, which I don't recommend. Once again, story. So here we go. If we had also, I had some chocolate covered coffee beans, but I can't find them, and I know I have them somewhere. I'm sure I'll find them after the show. So here we go. Espresso martini mix, Casa de Ayala style. I'm gonna take a second one on this. It's really good. I don't know if my palate is still full from the cortado that I had this morning, but this is really good. I don't taste the vodka in it, which you probably normally wouldn't when you have something as strong as an espresso martini mix in there, which is more in the favor for it. I do like it. It definitely has that coffee espresso taste to it. Not as strong as a cortado, but it's definitely an espresso taste. And if you like coffee, this is really something you want to do. And if you had the coffee beans in there, I think it would just really finish it up really nice. This is something that you would have for like a happy hour drink, not something that you would have while you're eating lunch. Maybe for a brunch, if you want to go that far. I would say probably if you paired this with a maybe a nice biscotti, or paired this with some not really a concha, but maybe some other kind of pan de huevo or some other kind of sweet bread. Not too sweet. You don't want to kill this taste by having something that's too sweet. So maybe a kolache that just has a little bit of fruit jam or jelly on it, or something that's even plainer than that. That would be like for breakfast. If you're having it in the evening, I would just recommend this all together before you go to your dinner or something like that. So it's a nice pre-dinner drink. So I'm gonna go. I can't really judge myself on this, so I can't really give thumbs up. But I would say of the drink itself, not how I mixed it, but of the drink itself, I'm gonna give this 8 thumbs up. 8 thumbs up. Good drink. Thanks to the vodka and martini people, or martini mix people, I should say. If you have your own version of this martini that you'd like to send to me, please do. If you think my judgment of this is a little harsh and you'd like to come on the show and tell me or make a drink for me, then please, let's get you on the show. So just let me know. All right, everybody. That's it. Well, there you have it, everybody. We just did a few minutes past 30 minutes, so it turned out to be a great condensed way of showing everything. So I hope you appreciate it. I hope you like the show. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, or concerns, please send it to me on this channel. That once again is Javier in the air, not on the air, in the air. And if you don't see this ugly mug or some kind of weird looking thing to it, it's probably not this show. But there's enough of my shows on there that you would see me on there in one of the archived shows. If you'd like to be on the show, please let me know. I'd love to have you on. Love to have a co-host for an episode or two. There will be some tastings coming up. Let's see, it is July. So there is a tasting party coming up in August, but also there is, we might have to do our pumpkin tasting earlier than Brother Rob and I normally do, because we have a tendency to do it late, and because we do it late, we miss a lot of the pumpkin beers that are out there, or we buy them. I buy them early. They sit in the fridge for too long, and that kind of ruins the taste of them. So we want to make sure that we get it right this time. And unfortunately, the pumpkin beer comes out way earlier than you would think for because it's not around Halloween and it's not even beginning of October. Sometimes it's end of September, early. No, sometimes it's mid to early September, sometimes even end of August when they start putting those pumpkin beers out there. So we may have to actually do something in September this year rather than late September, early October, mid October that we've been doing. So I'm sure Brother Rob will be up for it. If you'd like to be a part of that tasting, please let me know. That will be a taped before a live studio audience, and so we can do that. Well, I'll set up everything here so that we can have multiple people here to do the tasting. So if you're interested, please let me know. If you'd like to co-host the show for whatever reason, because you're crazy like I am, please let me know, and we'll get you. I'll get you on there. So, all right, that's it for everyone. Stay safe. There is currently a flash flood warning out there for most parts of Texas, so please stay at home if you can, or minimize your trips. If remember, if it's water flowing over the road, don't go down. Don't drive on it. I come from San Antonio, where it's flash flood city, and anything above 2 inches of water can literally take your car and wash it away. I've seen it. They have videos of it. It's horrible. You don't want to do it. So avoid water on the road. Stay at home if you can. So be safe, and I will talk to everybody again next time. Thanks a lot, everyone.